Thanks for staying with us. Now, a viral video has been circulating on social media, recorded by a passenger from a plane about to take off from Tambo International Airport. The video shows three men running onto the tarmac and trying to get onto a Fly Safair flight, considering that the airport is a national key point. This has sparked debates about why the men were there and if this was a breach in security. We are joined by eNCA Group Executive for Enterprise Security, Mzwandile Petros, to give us some insight. Thank you so much for your time this evening, sir. We do appreciate it. Perhaps just explain to us what actually happened last week and how three men got to get onto the tarmac.
Thank you very much, Heidi. What happened last week on the 7th, around about 12 o'clock midday, a man was seen by security that was patrolling around the perimeter of the airside, trying to jump over the gate, north gate number 1, and he successfully jumped over. And the security was running after to try and apprehend the person before crossing the tarmac and approaching the moving aircraft. So that's what happened. It was a breach of security by the person who jumped over the gate, and the person was subsequently apprehended and ended home.
So just to confirm, it was only one individual, and the individuals we see behind him, the individuals that we're seeing behind him is the security?
It's a security, yes.
Okay. I want to get perspective on allegations that security service providers have not been paid, and this is how you have unknown men or unknown people getting onto the tarmac and into the national key point. Is that true? Could you give us some insight into what's actually going on?
That has nothing to do with the non-payment of security or contracted security at the base, and the people who were really responsible for that were the people who were deployed to do the work. And the man was spotted before jumping over the gate, and he subsequently jumped over the gate. And the company actually that was responsible for apprehending the person had no issues with it.
Is there an issue of a security provider and non-payment though?
The security company that was not paid, it was an issue of sorting out the contracts with the company. And the company was subsequently, the issue of the non-payment of the company was sorted out, I think, to expect.
Okay, Mr. Petros, maybe speak to us about preventative measures and ensuring this does not happen again, be it at Tambo International Airport or any other airport, because this is a national key point. And as much as we've tried to get a response from Fly Safair, as we know this unknown man was approaching that particular flight, we were told all communication needs to be through eNCA. So how are you going to make sure that this does not happen again?
Heidi, the issue that, as I already indicated, the person before even jumping over the gate was spotted by the people who were deployed to deal with that specific offense that could have been committed and successfully committed. And what actually happens in terms of the security deployment at the airport, particularly the airside, we have a layered security approach. First is to detect the incident before it happens. And if it was not the gate, because the gate gets opened and closed more often, we have at the perimeter what's called the PIDS, Perimeter Detection Intrusion. Perimeter Intrusion Detection System that actually detects before actually the person jumps over the fence, and alarms are going to be raised and the cameras are going to be able to pick up the person, and there will be the response to the security that is deployed. There was a response that was done by the security that is deployed around the perimeter, and hence you saw the people actually trying to apprehend the person across the tarmac, and subsequently the person was apprehended. I wish I could say to you, nobody is going to be trying to jump over the fence. It's impossible, but I think what would help actually is to stop the incident from happening before the person actually jumps over. The person successfully jumped over, but subsequently apprehended. By all means, we will always have people that are deployed as patrol around the perimeter fence, and where we have the detection equipment, we will be in a position to even control that from the control rooms with the technology that is deployed around the perimeter.
Are you looking at increasing security around the boundary walls or the fences? Because as much as you say you wish that this never happened or that something like this doesn't happen, I know that the reality in South Africa is that crime is rife and you have people that take these opportunities and commit crimes. But this is a national key point, and this is what is raising alarm bells and concerns to say if somebody can so easily get onto the apron and onto the tarmac and approach the aircraft, what else is possible?
Heidi, what we will actually, we're following up, because at the gate itself, there's a guardhouse where there's a security guard that was stationed at the gate. And unfortunately, the time the person jumped over, but there are protocols that will be followed in terms of investigating exactly why was the person not responsive, who was supposed to be guarding the gate and not inside the guardhouse. That is being pursued internally. And I must actually assure you there is recourse in terms of what happened. There will be consequence managed in terms of those that didn't do what they were supposed to be doing. There's adequate security deployment. The space of the air side, and I must tell you this, is that it's heavily regulated. We're supposed to deploy security, so many numbers of, there is a minimum standard that is actually set out and regulated to be there. And by all means, we actually striving to deploy the adequate number of security around the fence. If an incident of this nature happens, there is a recourse. We are expected to be actually taking actions if there's a problem that is happening. So we're not expecting this to be prevalent because there is consequence management that is done immediately after this.
Has any action been taken against any individual or the security company to date?
In past years, there are penalties, there are heavy penalties, particularly for those who are contracted, if they don't meet the obligation of the service level agreement that we have with them. Yes, we've done, there's been heavy penalties, and there's some people that have been fired by the security companies that are contracted. And even our own security that is deployed, they know that there will be consequences if people don't comply with the regulations that are set up, procedures and processes that are.
So when you speak about penalties and people being fired, is it specifically to this incident? And what penalties are we speaking about?
This particular incident, as I already indicated, there is an investigation that is underway. The person is apprehended. And of course, we will do the follow-up in terms of those people who are supposed to be at the gate and doing the work. There is going to be consequence management in terms of that. But what I was saying to you, because the airside is a heavily regulated space, there are processes and procedures that are supposed to be followed in terms of the regulations. And if there is non-compliance, we need to be doing the consequence management, be it a contracted company or our own company. And with this incident, of course, there will definitely be that investigation because there's an obligation on our part as an airport operator to report back to the regulator, which is the Civil Aviation Authority. And of course, they would be expecting that we are actually compliant. And if we're not compliant, something has been done in terms of consequence management.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that update, and we'll definitely be checking in with you with regards to action taken because this is quite serious. This is a national key point. That was Mzwandeli Petros, the AXA Group Executive for Enterprise Security, giving us an update on that unknown male approaching an aircraft.